It's Wednesday, November 12th.
The next 24 hours will be absolutely jam-packed.
G7 foreign ministers will get down to business during their summit in Ontario. Happening today, a meeting between the Foreign Affairs Minister and U.S. Secretary of State.
Even if it's not a perfect match, there'll be some degree of protection.
Doctors say some vaccine protection is better than none as the country braces for what could be a rough flu season.
Multi-year captain of the Raiders works it up the left side for Meunier. Pass down low on a shot. They score!
The red-hot Raiders continue to roll. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen.
We got lots to get to today, but we have a ton of photos. Did you notice it on the drive-in?
Yeah. As soon as I walked outside of my door this morning, it was just dancing up in the sky.
Land of Living Skies showing off last night. This shot on your screen taken around 8:30 last night near Hanley. Come on, Corey, bring it on up. There it is. Look at that. There's brilliant reds and greens.
It's very wicked coated.
Yeah, Susan sending this in to us. Thank you for doing that. Let's get to news. We'll share more of those photos throughout this show. A high-stakes meeting is happening today at the G7 Foreign Ministers Summit at Niagara-on-the-Lake. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will meet with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Today's one-on-one high-stakes meeting comes after trade talks between Canada and the U.S. were suspended by the U.S. President. The U.S. trade war is not officially on the agenda during the summit, but Canada has invited countries outside of the G7 to the summit in an effort to make more trading partners.
Meeting global challenges requires global partnerships. The issues we are facing transcend the G7 and our borders.
As the two-day summit wraps up today, Ukraine will be the main topic of discussion. Ministers will also look at the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Other issues on the agenda include energy, critical minerals development, and maritime security. Dozens of Indigenous protesters breached security at the COP30 climate summit in Brazil briefly, forcing their way into the main venue. Activists, some dressed in traditional Indigenous clothing, forced their way into the building at the end of the day Tuesday as delegates were leaving the building. 2 security workers suffered minor injuries in skirmishes with protesters. The demonstrators are demanding action on climate and forest protection. Hundreds of Remembrance Day services were held across Canada, and Regina no exception, of course. Those in the Queen City were busy attending traditional ceremonies at war memorials and events across the city as well. Here is Sierra de Souza Batz.
Serving in the military for over 30 years, Brad Rossena says Remembrance Day carries a personal meaning to him.
I always remember my great uncle. He was a farm boy from around Carrot River. He joined the Army in the First World War.
Rossena is one of hundreds of people at Victoria Park in Regina paying tribute to Canadian soldiers who gave their lives in times of war. A ceremonial parade surrounding the cenotaph was featured, along with the laying of wreaths.
It remembers the veterans that served in the wars, the ones that didn't come home and the ones that did and weren't quite the same as when they left.
This year also marks the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, where more than 1 million Canadians served and 45,000 lost their lives.
Now that World War II veterans are no longer amongst us in the southern Saskatchewan, it's very important that we maintain the legacy that they've left for us.
In another part of the city, people are honoring the day in a different way. Sing, sing, sing. A wartime tribute concert by the Nightingales returned to the Queen City this year, singing well-known songs from the First and Second World War, taking people back to a time of remembrance.
They're a visiting group at Dark Hall, so they've rented the space to be here. So they've programmed it to themselves, but it's celebration music by the Andrews Sisters and kind of times gone by.
Usually held at the Artesian Theatre, the group of local artists changed its venue to the Dark Hall, leading to a sold-out show of almost 400 people. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
So that's what happened in the south. Jeremy, what happened in the north?
Well, Daryl, nearly 5,000 people filled the seats of SaskTel Centre on the morning of November 11th, acknowledging the service of brave Canadians. The province's largest indoor Remembrance Day ceremony, highlighting the different branches of service within the country and honored those who lost their lives in the line of duty. As mentioned in the program, over 70,000 Saskatchewan citizens served in the Second World War, 5,015 of whom were killed in conflict.
Those who are wounded and can't be here for whatever reasons, they can't be in public. The ones who are mourning their loved ones who have died, that's real. There are people who are, this isn't just like a civic holiday, a national event. This is very personal.
And this particular Remembrance Day marking the 80th anniversary of the Second World War. Saskatchewan's police watchdog is investigating after a 35-year-old man died in the Saskatoon Police Service detention unit Monday morning. Police say the man went into medical distress around 9:30, shortly after he was arrested for an alleged assault on Avenue Q South. Police say the incident involved a 5-year-old girl and a 40-year-old woman and is under investigation by the Serious Assault Unit. The Serious Incident Response Team's been notified and is now leading the investigation into the man's death. All right, Daryl, back to you with a preview of this week's W5.
Major development in a W5 investigation into an online network of men who secretly drug and videotape the abuse of their wives and girlfriends. After infiltrating the group and confirming the identity of a man who would befriend her online, actually, Avery Haynes shared evidence with police in Switzerland and tells us what happened next.
On a porn website, dozens of videos of a middle-aged woman who appears to be drugged. At times, her abuser shows his face obscured by a mask. We nickname him Henri. Offering to be my online mentor, he sends me lengthy emails describing in horrific detail the crimes he commits weekly against his unsuspecting wife. Eventually, he shares his first name, where he lives, and his profession. With just that information, I did a search on LinkedIn, and there was one hit. The glasses and facial structure appear to match, but we need more to be sure. Typing the man's full name into YouTube, this wedding video from 2 years ago pops up. His bride is the same woman in the abuse videos. Scouring through Facebook photos, we match a ring that she wears with a ring on the hand of the woman being abused. We also match the room in the videos with an apartment in Geneva, Switzerland. In his emails, Henri describes his wife as his object. I had a lot of fun with my wife, transformed into a toy. Your doll will do everything you want, guaranteed. He reveals that he's been drugging women for decades. None of the women I sedated suffered any after effects, none.
He's pretty much laid himself open to you. He's given you the doses, he's given you the MO, given you his important insights to his mindset.
Veteran Canadian criminal profiler Jim Van Allen analyzed my email conversations with Henri.
Henri really matches the overall expectations of a drug-facilitated sexual assault offender. Personable, charming, manipulative, a flare of narcissism.
In his emails, Henri shares explicit details of increasingly invasive and dangerous ways of drugging his wife. He also reveals that she has sleep apnea. He writes to me, well, she has respiratory arrest very rarely. So what? We don't die from it.
He's playing with fire here. He's not a doctor, but he thinks he's very bright. And he figures he has 20 years experience in sedation. He deserves to get caught. He needs to be caught.
Believing her life is at risk, we share our information with police in Geneva, Switzerland. And now, months later, they confirm an arrest on charges of rape and sexual coercion. The suspect is in pre-trial detention. Criminal profiler Van Allen says men who carry out drug-facilitated sexual assault are not easily cured of their deviancy.
Ain't no pill gonna cure this ill. behind bars is going to stop it.
We're not releasing the suspect's name in order to protect the identity of his alleged victim, his wife. Avery Haynes, CTV News, Toronto.
That was part one. We'll have part two for you tomorrow. The red-hot Prince Albert Raiders continued their winning ways yesterday.
Multi-year captain of the Raiders works it up the left side for Meunier. Pass down low and a shot. They score!
Evan Smith had a pair of goals on the night as the Raiders beat the Everett Silvertips 4-1. The Raiders built up a 4-goal lead and held on from there. They are second in the East.
Now Doyle. He skates his way. Now back right side across. One-timer and they score!
Lang had a pair of goals. He's now got 10 on the year as the Saskatoon Blades edged the Swift Current Broncos 4-1 last night. Lang is a 6th-round pick of the Calgary Flames. Blades are 4th in the Eastern Conference. Let's turn our attention over to the Weather Center. We had all those beautiful auroras last night, made possible by some clear skies.
Yeah, beautiful clear skies. Heading on into the rest of the afternoon, we'll be seeing a few clouds, but still a whole lot of sunshine in the province today. The sun not going to be up until just past 8 a.m. this morning. So for now, enjoy the calm before the storm. -4 right now in Regina, a mix of sun and cloud right now, and very low winds to start the day in Regina and Saskatoon. And in Saskatoon, we're waking up to clear skies right now, -6 to start the day. Today's wind gusts not looking too strong in any places. You do see lighting up in blue around Hudson Bay and Yorkton there. Could be seeing wind gusts just barely up to about 40 kilometers per hour in Hudson Bay. Other than that, we're seeing very low wind gusts, especially down in the southwest corner today. The futurecast showing not a whole lot for today, just a few clouds coming and going throughout the afternoon, but it's really tomorrow that we start to see that storm system making its way in, bringing a whole lot of snow to areas way up north, also with that cloud cover as well. It continues on into Friday morning. This is at about 3 a.m. when that system grows in size, and then it will be holding on again way up north for Friday afternoon as well. Not seeing a whole lot in the central or southern zones though. Current temperatures now, we're seeing 0 degrees to wake us up in Buffalo Narrows, -1 to start the day in Nipawin. Spiritwood starting the day at -1 as well, and then -3 in Hudson Bay. Down towards the south, we're seeing East End Cypress at 1 degree right now, -3 in Assiniboia, -2 in Yorkton. Later on this afternoon, we are going to be seeing a lot of sunshine, so Moose Jaw up to 8 degrees, Swift Current up to 8 degrees, and Yorkton up to 6 degrees. All of these temperatures are above the seasonal average. To put that into perspective for you, Saskatoon's average for this time of year is just below 0 degrees, and for Regina, it's just above 0 degrees. So definitely seeing those warmer temperatures today compared to that at least. Thursday, we're going to be seeing a high of 9 degrees in Regina, getting up to 14 degrees, if you can believe it, on Friday. We're going to be seeing those warmer temperatures down towards the south. Still warm throughout the central zones, however, just not as warm as those double digits. 0 degrees on Saturday, 3 degrees on Sunday, and 3 degrees on Monday, back down to 0 on Tuesday for Regina. In Saskatoon, though, we're seeing 7 degrees tomorrow, 7 degrees on Friday, -2 on Saturday. So we do drop down for the weekend, 1 degree on Sunday, and a few more clouds making their way in for our next work week, up to 1 degree on Monday and -2 on Tuesday.
Three Canadians are battling for the starting assignment at the safety position. Incumbent Glenn Suter, who is entering his 4th year with the club.
Glenn Suter is a rider legend, and we found rare footage of a young Glenn Suter sporting the mustache way back in 1987 at Rider Training Camp. Here's some sights and sounds of the former rider. Enjoy.
Stay down. That's it. Good pop.
We all have to improve as a team, and I think with this coaching staff we have here this year, I mean, every day I've come out so far, I've learned something more. And, you know, I feel like I'm improving every day, and I think everyone has the same feeling. This year, all around, the teaching is just great, and that's how you improve. You work on the little things, the fundamentals, and they teach you all your little footwork mistakes and things like that. That's how you get better.
sights and sounds of Glenn Suter at Rider Training Camp in 1987.
And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and wood finish televisions, you can check them out on our website.
Well, staying in the #1 spot is probably what a showgirl would want. Taylor Swift's latest album, The Life of a Showgirl, is #1 on the Billboard 200 for a 5th straight week. The Life of a Showgirl is only the second album in 2025 to spend its first 5 weeks at #1, following Morgan Wallen's I'm the Problem. There's more to come for Swifties. The End of an Era docuseries begins streaming in just a month. Have either of you taken the time to listen to this album yet?
There's a ride on my exercise bike for this. I did the other day. It was okay.
All right.
I heard it
I'm
all.
not a Swift fan, and
I'll run it through. I run it through when it came out. It's been on a little bit in my home and vehicles, so yeah, it's great.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I like the album. It's on repeat in my car.
She
so.
sure knows how to pump out content, though, for her fans. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's true.
Marketing queen. Question of the day. We're asking what your favorite sandwich is.
Yes.
Why? Because we can.
Well, actually, today is actually National French Dip Day.
Okay.
Which is one of my favorite sandwiches. I love a good French dip sandwich. So what is the best, though? What's the best sandwich?
I could use a good BLT from the Jeremy Dodge House. That's what I could use. I hear he makes a mean one.
Yeah. That's funny. We actually had those last night for supper. Coincidentally, I wasn't aware today was French Dip Day. I always like to sing the virtues of my favorite shop in town, Gangsters Italian Sandwiches. Everything they offer is good. But lately I've been craving a Reuben sandwich. Haven't had one of those.
Well, if we're going to do that, when you're heading down Highway 1, you're going to Calgary, stop into Brooks, go to the Brooks Hotel for a roast beef sandwich. Best sandwich you've ever had in your entire life. That probably just got me a free one.
Man.
We want to know from you. Text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply, or scan the QR code on your screen. We'll take a look at the city of Regina. Getting colder out there, folks. Bundle up as you head out the door.
Adam Scully here inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for it, we're heading to Boston. Bruins taking on the Leafs. Check out the passing play to spring David Pastrnak on the breakaway. Walks in, undresses Dennis Hildeby. Great setup from his teammates. And an even better finish by Pasta for his 400th career goal, making him the 6th Bruin to ever reach the milestone. He would score again later for Boston's 7th straight win. That is your must-see moment. NBA action tonight on TSN as the Knicks host the Magic. New York is a perfect 5-0 so far on its 7-game homestand. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
A severe strain and a mismatch vaccine could mean a bad flu season for Canada.
The specific strain we're worried about this year is called H3N2. It tends to have more severe seasons.
Though not a direct indicator, countries in the north always look to the south for clues to how the upcoming flu season might unfold, as theirs starts earlier. And in Australia, this year was particularly bad. The highest number of lab-confirmed cases ever amid declining vaccination rates. Another challenge, the vaccine developed for the upcoming flu season is not a perfect match to the strain circulating.
You try and predict what's going to emerge, but the virus mutates very quickly. And some years that match is very good. Some years it's not as good. We may be running into a situation this year, and I think may is the important word because it's not a perfect prediction where the match is not as good.
This year's flu vaccine targets 2 influenza A strains, including a subtype of H3N2, as well as an influenza B strain. Doctors say some protection is better than no protection.
Even if it's not a perfect match, there'll be some degree of protection. You might still get sick, but you might be protected from, for example, hospitalization or pneumonia or the more severe consequences of infection.
The Public Health Agency of Canada says it's far too early to predict whether Canada will see a severe flu season. Among the factors that will have an impact are the effectiveness of the vaccine, but also other respiratory illnesses like RSV and COVID. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Health Report, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
Your school day forecast is brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zones safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in Regina, we're at -4, -6 in Saskatoon. So although it's going to be a cooler start to the day, later on this afternoon, we are going to be seeing temperatures above that seasonal average. 4 degrees by lunch in Regina, 3 degrees by lunch in Saskatoon, and then by final bell, both cities will be sitting at that expected daytime high of 6 degrees with winds coming in between 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. Here's a look at those gas prices in Regina. The common cost to fill up is $1.19.9. You can find regular fuel for as low as $1.099. In Saskatoon, the common cost is $1.21.9, and the lowest you might find is $1.17.9. Taking a look at the farm markets now, the street price of canola at $583.92 per ton this morning, and the futures price at $632.50 per ton. Amber Durham wheat is at $285.94 per ton, and Red Spring wheat at $254.06 per ton. And the Canadian dollar begins the day trading up at 71.33 cents US. Still to come, we're in conversation with the latest home cook sent home from MasterChef Canada. Stay with us.
Good morning, 6:31. Welcome to your morning. A new poll finds Canadian households aren't expecting much relief from the federal government's budget, which is expected to come up for a third reading tomorrow. A Leger poll released this week shows that 30% of respondents approve of last week's budget, but only 15% of households think it will financially benefit them on a personal basis. 32% believe it will have a negative effect. The poll found the Liberal budget scored broad approval for their economic measures, but failed to meet Canadians' needs on affordability. Many Canadians say they'll be spending less this holiday season as they work through the higher cost of living. This is according to a new survey from insolvency firm Harris & Partners. Almost 72% of Canadians surveyed say they will cut back on Christmas spending this year. About 62% say they do not feel financially prepared for the holidays, and 53% actually have anxiety about affording it. The longest government shutdown in the U.S. history could come to an end today. House lawmakers are set to vote on a short-term government funding bill that was passed in the Senate on Monday. If the bill does make it through the final hurdle, things will start to still take some time, to get back up and running. The government has been shut down for 42 days. Officials in Turkey have confirmed at least 20 soldiers have died in a transport plane crash. Investigators and inspectors are now at the crash site, which is in Georgia near the border with Azerbaijan. The plane was on its way back to Turkey from that country when it crashed. Reports from Turkey say contact with the plane was lost a few minutes after it entered Georgia's airspace. Reports also say there was no distress call before the plane went down. The cargo plane involved is a C-130 Hercules, a widely used military transport plane. Former federal conservative leader and veteran Erin O'Toole revealing a new plan to serve in the name of science. Natalie Johnson reports.
It's about 5K.
Down on the boardwalk by his East End home, Erin O'Toole still maintains a quick pace in life after politics.
When I run, I generally go to the volleyball courts.
The former federal conservative leader harnesses physical activity to support brain health, grateful that he never suffered a brain injury during his years of service in the military.
Our veterans serve, and many of them come back with injuries, both physical, mental, some aren't visible. And traumatic brain injury is something that we're really starting to understand.
Now, in this time of remembrance, O'Toole is pledging to donate his brain when he dies to Project Enlist. Research conducted by the Concussion Legacy Foundation to better understand the impact of military service on the brain.
You first think of the roadside bomb and, the light armored vehicle and the concussion, but it doesn't have to be that dramatic.
It's this revelation that it's not just concussions. It's the cumulative non-concussive impacts over time that people sustain during the course of their service that can end up leading to mental health issues, neurodegenerative disease, CTE.
Even though O'Toole didn't suffer head trauma during his time in the military, his brain can serve as a baseline or control for the testing. So far, more than 500 veterans have pledged to donate their brains for research.
I think we need to make sure we have the best protection, headgear and other things for our men and women in uniform. And we have to find treatment methods to reduce injury and treat it early so that there can be a quality of life.
Quality of life that is so critical year-round, well after Canadians take off their poppies when the Remembrance Day ceremony ends.
I hope this donation will take place a long time in the future, but I want to be part of something that is so positive.
Arming the Canadian military with research that will help to better educate and equip, another step forward in supporting those who serve. Natalie Johnson, CTV News, Toronto.
We take you next to a recap of the University of Saskatchewan's Remembrance Day service with Keenan Sorakhan.
97 years after these gates were first unveiled, crowds gathered here to honor the students, faculty, and staff who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And the university's links to military service isn't lost on the student body.
The fight for a better future, for hope, for courage, for Canadians, and for people who would inevitably come to Canada, and to build, ultimately, I think, a better life.
These gates were dedicated to the 69 members of the university who were killed while serving in the First World War. There are many other memorials throughout campus and plenty of stories throughout the years, like the College of Engineering closing its doors in the 1917-1918 academic year because there were no students left to take classes or faculty left to teach them.
Everybody enlisted, and there are remarkable stories of valor and courage on the part of men who returned and on the part of men who didn't. Yeah, it's very important.
Stoichev says in difficult times, it's universities that play a role in peacekeeping and building democracies.
When people maybe don't understand each other around the world the way they need to, if they understood each other, there would be peace. So universities are part of that understanding, and I think for that reason they're more important now than they've ever been.
Keenan Sorakhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
And in Prince Albert, events were held throughout the day as well, starting with a pancake breakfast at the Legion, honoring Canada's veterans. A Saskatchewan woman's journal chronicling the Toronto Blue Jays is now part of franchise history.
I truly believe that Mom and her love for the Jays, and just to overturn the last game she saw, maybe like a spiritual guardian.
There you go, folks. Van de Sype was a diehard Blue Jays fan, keeping journal logs of every single game. She died in 2023, and her final journal entry was a scathing review of a 2022 wildcard series loss to the Seattle Mariners. After she died, her son made it his mission to get the journal to the team. He managed to get in touch with Jessica Bassett, the wife of Chris Bassett. They both agreed the journal would be a good luck charm, and it was. From May 8th on, Toronto tied the Milwaukee Brewers for the best record in the Major League with 78 wins, 48 losses, and then, of course, headed to their playoff run. Let's take a look outside at those Northern Lights one more time. This is my pup, Disco. He never gets enough screen time, so here he is, Kayleen. Those Northern Lights were dancing last night.
I have to say, Sarah always takes the best photos of the Northern Lights. She's got an app on
her phone that alerts her. That's part of the success rate.
Oh, so she hunts them, because that's the key, because Sarah's are always the best, but we do have a lot of great ones in our inbox this morning, too.
Sure do, and we got some forecast that's okay today?
Yeah, actually, today is actually going to be a really good day compared to that seasonal average. I'm going to show you our almanac in this forecast, so keep your eyes on the screen. For now, though, we have to start by looking at those current temperatures. -4 right now in Regina. If you're heading out, it is a little bit cool. At least we're not seeing those higher winds right now, and we're not seeing them into the afternoon either. So really low winds for most places across the province today. The highest we're going to see is in Hudson Bay, up to about 40 kilometers per hour. -6 to wake us up in Saskatoon. Some calm calm skies and clear skies to start the day. Later on this afternoon, we're not seeing a whole lot in the midpoint there in terms of that cloud cover. It's going to be really sunny today, so that's going to be nice to see. Some more clouds then moving in overnight, and then we're talking about the system moving in tomorrow afternoon into areas way up north. Quite a bit of snow going to be coming with that. Also going to be seeing some freezing rain, but not really going to be seeing that down through the central zones or the southern zones all too much. Just a little bit right along that western border there into Friday afternoon. Now, the almanac that we were just talking about shows that with the high today of 6 degrees for Regina and Saskatoon, we're seeing temperatures above that average. So the average is right around 0 degrees for both cities. For Regina, it's slightly above 0, and for Saskatoon, it's slightly below 0. Last year, Regina reached 8.6 degrees, and on this day in Saskatoon, 2024, we reached 9.1 degrees. So not quite seeing what we saw last year, but definitely not seeing what we saw back in those record years. For Regina, that was 1981, 20.4 degrees, and 1999 for Saskatoon, that was 17.4 degrees. And if you're wondering how much sunlight we're going to be getting today, well, the sun is going to be going down in Regina. About 517 is what we're projecting, and 519 today in Saskatoon. Let's take a look at those temperatures across the province, though. So we know that Saskatoon and Regina are reaching 6 degrees, but some areas could be getting a little bit warmer down towards the south. Weyburn up to 8 degrees, Estevan 8 degrees as well. Cooler through Prince Albert, 5 degrees this afternoon. Now, the 5-day forecast showing that it's just going to be getting warmer as we make our way towards Friday in Regina, at least. 9 degrees tomorrow, 14 on Friday. So some areas down towards the south going to be seeing those double digits once again. 0 degrees on Saturday and 3 degrees on Sunday. In Saskatoon, not seeing those double digits, but still seeing temperatures go up slightly. 7 degrees tomorrow, 7 degrees on Friday, and then dropping down for the weekend, -2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday.
Paul, your time in the MasterChef Canada kitchen has come to an end.
Paul Harper of St. Catharines, Ontario, tagged out of the MasterChef Canada kitchen. The episode was called Tag You're It, and the 8 remaining home cooks feeling the pressure in the MasterChef Canada kitchen. Paul's with us from St. Catharines this morning. Thank you so much for doing this. Congratulations on a great run.
Thanks, Darrell. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. It was one of those bucket list items I had for a long time. I actually started the process way back in 2017, but finally got on. So it was lots of fun, and it was great to be there.
We hear that from a lot of home cooks, that it takes a few runs to get at it. So if you're at home and you want to get on the show, try again. Paul, listen, what went right, what went wrong for you in this competition, in this challenge?
The challenge in particular, I think it was... the editing was a little bit different than I expected, but it was, I think Veronica and I worked better than what we saw. And I got a really nice message from Veronica last night after the show. And we actually had the opportunity to work together both on this challenge and on the team challenge, which we won. And we got along great. So it was interesting to see the way it was shown. But I think for us, it was, a lot of it was technical error. Like we kind of left the artichokes in a little too long, so they got burnt. And then we didn't put the cheese, technical error, in the arancini as they wanted us to. So it was that. Throughout the competition, I would say I'm a guy that likes to plan dinners well in advance, and so under the gun, my creativity is not at its best. I think that's the biggest challenge for anyone that wants to go. Practice, and make sure you got all those creative juices flowing before you show up.
You tried a few times to get on. Was it what you expected?
The format's changed a little bit. They used to have something called the pressure test. So, the people in the bottom would be the 2 that would, or 3 that would go into a pressure test. And that's a lot of skills-based challenges, like cooking a steak medium rare, or doing the perfect omelet. And those are things that I'm really good at. Pretty straightforward stuff. It was the creativity side that was lacking for me in the short times that we had.
What do we not see on camera? Like, when do you guys go to the bathroom? When do you grab ingredients? When do you talk to the camera? What did we not see?
So that's interesting you say, because one of the funnest experiences for this whole thing was seeing how this is all done behind the scenes. You'd be amazed how many people are on that set. There's probably at least 20, 30 people around us at all times. And they're talking to us, and we're mic'd all the time. They can hear us from all different areas of that huge studio. So no matter what we say, if we ask a question, they'll have an answer for us right away. I mean, the other thing too is that I've spoken to a few people. The days are quite long in the kitchen. It's an hour time limit, but you're there setting up and getting food, and there's rules that you have to go over and things like that. So some days were 12 hours, 13, 14 hours. The first episode was quite a long day. I think it was almost 15 hours.
Wow. Okay, the obvious question is, what's next for you, Paul?
It's going back to the same old. I just cooking at home and cooking for friends and family, which I love doing, and back to work. Really, it's luckily for me, I think it hasn't really changed or had a great, crazy impact on regular day-to-day life, which I'm really enjoying.
Friends and family are going to want you to cook a couple more times for them, though, Paul. Thanks for doing this. Congratulations on a good run. And you can follow along in the MasterChef Canada Journey Tuesdays on CTV, streaming the next day on Crave.
Holiday job postings are a little more plentiful this year, but that's hardly a respite for job seekers, as competition for those positions is expected to be tough, with unemployment still elevated. A new report showing Indeed Canada's Holiday Hiring Trends report, released on late Wednesday, finds seasonal postings so far this winter are up 12% from last year, though still weak relative to prior years. Indeed Canada's senior economist Brendan Bernard, who authored the report, says demand for seasonal workers generally mimics the broader state of the economy. The last two holidays were overshadowed by high interest rates and inflation, which tempered businesses' hiring appetite as households reined in spending. This year, however, consumer spending seems to be stabilizing as many retailers report a fairly solid year. A rebound in technology shares drove stocks higher as a slate of upbeat earnings and optimism that the U.S. government shutdown is nearing an end lifted sentiment. Markets are anticipating an end to the 43-day U.S. government shutdown, with House members set to return to Washington to vote on a spending deal. Traders are betting that the resumption of data releases could bolster the case for interest rate cuts amid uncertainty over the Federal Reserve's next move. The resolution of the last 4 U.S. shutdowns has typically lifted the S&P 500 in most of its sectors based on median performance. Stocks gained after every shutdown since 1995 except early 2018, with consumer shares leading the way. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
It's November 12th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a first birthday shout out going out to Brianna. Happy birthday to you. Brianna's mom, dad, and big sister sending in this shout out. A big happy birthday going out to Nellie today for her 3rd birthday. We hope you have a wonderful day with lots of love from your mom, dad, and Winnie. Happy birthday to Chris. He is now officially 40 years old. Have a great day, Chris. Lots of love coming your way from Daisy and family. Also marking another trip around the sun is Glenda. Happy birthday to you. We hope you have a wonderful day filled with love from everyone around you. And happy anniversary wishes going out to Beverly and Grant Switzer from Mankota. They're marking 60 years of love and devotion. Your family is sending in this shout out with a whole lot of love. If you have anything that you would like to celebrate, send us your milestones to Your Morning Saskatchewan at ctv.ca. You can also scan that QR code on your screen. Please make sure you send those in one day in advance.
Welcome to our radio friends, Pure Country 92.7. Chase, all the conversation in country music right now is about this song.
That life's gonna kick you, trip you, break you down, spin you in circles, leave you on the ground, but I keep on fighting, that's what I do. Dust on
Breaking Rust is topping the charts.
Yeah.
Chase, what makes this interesting, and should we like it?
You know what? You like what you like. It's all AI generated, though. Breaking Rust, they're not a real group. Walk by Walk, that song is all completely AI generated, and yeah, it's topping the charts now. Is it that different, though, from musicians coming in and using like a bunch of studio magic? Like there's a real person, but that's not how they actually sound in life. So that's like my counterpoint for it. It's weird. It's odd. That song was better than I wanted it to be as well. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. Honestly, if it got just a smidgen better, like I'd be playing on the regular too. Like, what did you think, Daryl?
I don't know. I'm so conflicted because I have so many friends who are working in actual music that like, the humans need to make money somehow, right?
Yes. There is a human behind that AI program that's making money. We just don't see them.
Okay. I guess. It's like, is this modern day Milli Vanilli? Is that what this is?
Oh, I hope not, but maybe that's the road we're going to.
Oh, gosh. All right, Chase, we'll chat again in the next hour. We'll find out what's happening in the radio.
Thanks, Daryl. See you then.
New tech has the old toys fearing for their futures in the first teaser trailer for Toy Story 5. The new film in the iconic animated franchise is due in theaters June 19th.
How do you live?
Well, I live with the confidence if I believe in myself, the money will follow.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
It doesn't even enter my consciousness.
Maybe it should.
It's fame and fortune or bust for Timothée Chalamet in the latest trailer for Marty Supreme. He plays a young man in 1950s New York determined to do whatever it takes to become a table tennis champion. The sports drama from director Josh Safdie opens in theaters December 25th.
Dogs are very sensitive to anything that throws their routine, like a breakup.
You take love is different because we broke off.
Merv stars Zooey Deschanel and Charlie Cox as exes whose attempts to cheer up their shared dog just might bring them back together again. The Canine Connection rom-com debuts December 10th on Prime Video. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Time for Sidebar. If you're feeling a little tired today because you have kids under 4 that don't sleep, maybe you and your coworker could do this. Okay, Kayleen.
The worst part is
how much in dollars?
No.
How much in dollars to do this?
Oh, free. But the worst part is that I can hear producer Nathan laughing from the control room right now because he's already plotting doing this with director Corey.
Yeah, except he'll let him go.
This is great.
Oh my goodness.
Where's Mike?
Where is Mike? Yeah, get him in there.
He's down the hall.
Tomorrow's Sidebar is going to be so great. It's just going to be videos of all of us doing this.
Swinging ourselves around. You know what? Let's take a time out. Let's refill those coffee cups, get a little bit of rest. We got your news and your weather forecast right after this. It's Wednesday, November 12th.
The next 24 hours will be absolutely jam-packed.
G7 foreign ministers will get down to business during their summit in Ontario. Happening today, a meeting between the Foreign Affairs Minister and U.S. Secretary of State.
Even if it's not a perfect match, there'll be some degree of protection.
Doctors say some vaccine protection is better than none as the country braces for what could be a rough flu season.
Now Doyle, he skates his way, now back right side across, one-timer and they score!
The Blades stay sharp. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Thanks for waking up with us.
Land of the Living Skies showing off last night. Lynn sent us in this picture. Take a look at this. The auroras in full display. You can see the reds last night without any filter, just naked eye.
Yeah, sometimes they appear better in photo on your phone with night mode than they do to the naked eye. But last night was beautiful. I stepped outside this morning. I did not need a camera to see how beautiful those were.
My wife actually woke Mateo up out of bed and said, "Come watch this."
Oh, that's going to be a childhood core memory.
Yeah, he's also going to be really grumpy this morning, so good luck to you. Let's get on to news. A high-stakes meeting is set for today at the G7 Foreign Ministers Summit in Niagara. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will meet with the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio amid rising tensions between the two countries. Today's one-on-one between the top diplomats is the first since trade talks were suspended by the U.S. president. They're expected to discuss critical mineral development and economic resilience. Canada has invited countries outside the G7 to the summit in an effort to find more trading partners.
Meeting global challenges requires global partnerships. The issues we are facing transcend the G7 and our borders.
The summit will also hear from Ukraine's foreign minister as Russia escalates its war by targeting the Ukrainian power grid. The attacks have brought rolling blackouts to Ukraine as winter approaches, and the U.S.-led diplomatic efforts remain at a standstill. Dozens of indigenous protesters breached security at the COP30 climate summit in Brazil, briefly forcing their way into the main venue.
They're going to try it. Doors are opening up. They're going through.
The activists, some dressed in traditional indigenous clothing, forced their way into the building at the end of the day Tuesday as delegates were leaving the building. 2 security workers suffered minor injuries in skirmishes with the protesters. The demonstrators are demanding action on climate and forest protection. Could be a rough flu season right across the country this year.
The specific strain we're worried about this year is called H3N2. It tends to have more severe seasons.
One strain on the rise in this country is H3N2. It tends to hit babies, seniors, and people who are immunocompromised the hardest, but everyone can obviously become infected. Adding to the challenge is that this season's flu shot is not a perfect match for the strain. Public health officials say it's still too soon to make predictions about flu season. Experts are reminding you it's a good idea to get your flu shot. Hundreds of services in honor of Remembrance Day taking part in the Queen City and across the country. Close to 500 turned out for the traditional service at the Cenotaph in Victoria Park, paying tribute to Canadian soldiers who gave their lives. Surrounding the Cenotaph is featured alongside the laying of the wreaths. This year also marks the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, where 1 million Canadians served and 45,000 were killed.
Now that World War II veterans are no longer amongst us in the southern Saskatchewan, it's very important that we maintain the legacy that they've left for us.
In another part of the city, people were honoring in a different way. A wartime tribute concert by the Nightingales returned to the Queen City this year at Dark Hall, singing well-known songs from the First and Second World War, taking people back in time. That's what happened in the South. Let's turn things over to Jeremy Dodge to find out what happened in the North.
Well, Daryl, was Saskatchewan's largest indoor Remembrance Day ceremony, hosted at Saskatoon's SaskTel Centre. Hallie Mandrick has the details.
Nearly 5,000 people filled the seats of SaskTel Centre on the morning of November 11th to acknowledge the service of brave Canadians.
All my life as I was growing up, Remembrance Day was about 11 o'clock. Then I became a chaplain for the military, and I realized it's way, way bigger than that.
Ivan Nahachowski says Remembrance Day comes with a lot of emotions, which extend far beyond this particular service.
Those who are wounded and can't be here for whatever reasons, they can't be in public. The ones who are mourning their loved ones who have died, that's real. There are people who are, this isn't just like a civic holiday, a national event. This is very personal.
The Nahachowski family is one of many that has several ties to the Canadian Armed Forces. Ivan's wife, Deborah Nahachowski, works with young cadet members, and she emphasized the importance of teaching the next generation about the significance of Remembrance Day.
The reason we have our freedom and we have democracy and all of that is because of these people who went before us. And by being in the cadet program, we do talk about that, and they do get some of that knowledge.
Both Ivan and Deborah Nahachowski shared that the sight of a large audience on Tuesday was very meaningful.
There's a lot of other things people could be doing today, and they're realizing that they have a day off, the significance of it. They show it by showing up here, that they realize what the purpose of Remembrance Day is.
Adding hope that those in attendance acknowledge the greater meaning of Remembrance Day.
I hope they feel grateful that Canada is a free country and that we can be who we are, that we're not being bombed or shot at. I hope the major feeling is gratitude.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
In other news, Saskatchewan's police watchdogs investigating after a 35-year-old man died in the Saskatoon Police Service detention unit Monday morning. Police say the man went into medical distress about 9:30 a.m. shortly after he was arrested for an alleged assault on Avenue Q South. Police say the incident involved a 5-year-old girl and a 40-year-old woman and is under investigation by the Serious Assault Unit. The Serious Incident Response Team has been notified and is now leading the investigation into the man's death. Well, Daryl, residents out east waking up to a big blanket of snow today.
Yeah, better them than us. That's what I always say. Power slowly being restored in Quebec after Montreal got hammered.
The snow becomes very wet, sticky, like glue. The freezing rain, add to that, add a little bit more ice pellets and snow grains, and you've got this ugly mixture.
Environment Canada says it didn't expect a snow ban to shift as far west as it did, dumping 20 centimeters of snow on Montreal, nearly 4 times what forecasters had predicted. Hydro-Quebec reported more than 200,000 customers without power at the height of the storm. Most of that has now been restored. The woman serving 20 years for sex trafficking underage girls for convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is reportedly preparing a request to the Trump administration for clemency. Here's Joy Malbin.
Outside this prison camp in Texas, Ghislaine Maxwell is reportedly working on her freedom. The convicted sex trafficker plans to ask President Donald Trump to commute her prison sentence. That's according to the top Democrat on the congressional committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein's criminal network. Congressman Jamie Raskin says a whistleblower detailed that and a list of Maxwell's prison perks, from playing with puppies to computer use.
The whistleblower made clear that Ghislaine Maxwell is just in a completely different category than every other prisoner. She gets essentially room service behind bars. She can use the shower. She can use the gym whenever she wants to.
The family of Virginia Giuffre are horrified. In Virginia's posthumous memoir, she called Maxwell a sexual predator who trafficked her to rich and powerful men, alleging the former Prince Andrew sexually abused her when she was just a minor.
If King Charles can strip Andrew of the prince title over just affiliations, why is our president not definitively ruling out a convicted sex trafficker of minors, of children?
Donald Trump's lawyer interviewed Maxwell in federal prison last July after she claimed President Trump was not involved in any illegal activities. Maxwell was suddenly transferred to this prison camp. Congressman Raskin claims the whistleblower says the warden there is helping Maxwell apply for her freedom.
Ghislaine Maxwell is actively seeking a commutation, a pardon from the president right now.
The White House says it doesn't comment on potential clemency requests, but the president has said before of Maxwell that he has not ruled out a pardon.
The red-hot Prince Albert Raiders continued their winning ways yesterday.
Multi-year captain of the Raiders works it up the left side for Meunier. Pass down low and a shot. They score!
Just like that, just that easy for Evan Smith, who had a pair of goals on the night as the Raiders beat the Everett Silvertips 4-1. Raiders built up a 4-goal lead, never looked back. They are second in the East.
Now Doyle, he skates his way, now back right side across. One-timer and they score!
Hunter Lang, the Calgary Flames prospect, a pair of goals. He's got 10 on the year now as the Saskatoon Blades edged the Swift Current Broncos 4-1 last night. The Blades are 4th in the Eastern Conference. A Saskatoon bowler has rolled herself into the record books at just 21 years of age.
When you get that close, everybody stops and watches. There's nobody else bowling in the bowling alley.
Cooper Bonnick has achieved what many bowlers spend a lifetime chasing, a perfect game on the national stage. He accomplished the feat at a National Youth 10-pin championship in Quebec, getting 12 strikes in a row and earning himself a 300 score. That's perfect. This week, he was also honored with the prestigious Perfect Game ring. Bonnick says his next goal is to bowl 3 perfect games in a row. Lofty expectations.
All right, we're taking a look at this morning view. It's brought to you by recyclemyelectronics.ca, where you can find a drop-off location near you. We're at -6 right now in Regina. We do have some clear skies to start the day. The sun should be up in about 1 hour or so. If you want to see that sunrise, make sure you are prepped at about 8:08 in Regina. Winds coming in at 13 kilometers per hour in Saskatoon. It's going to be at about 8:15. We're going to see that sunrise. We're at -6 right now and clear skies. Today's wind gusts looking very low compared to what we have been seeing in the past week. The highest winds we're going to be seeing today are around the Hudson Bay area, where we could be seeing them peak at about 40 kilometers per hour. Other than that, especially down in the southwest, winds are going to be very calm today. Let's take a look at this futurecast now. We are not seeing a lot in terms of the cloud cover down towards the south. Up in the north, we're going to be seeing that cloud cover expanding there, though. And then we are going to be seeing a system bringing quite a bit of snow way up north into tomorrow afternoon. Also going to be continuing and expanding into Friday morning and Friday afternoon as well. And that's when into the afternoon hours we could be seeing some of it throughout the central zones there. Saskatoon could be seeing it into the late evening hours on Friday, some of those late flurries. Current temperatures now, we're seeing -3 for Prince Albert, -2 in South End. Starting the day at -2 in Hudson Bay, down towards the south, 0 degrees in East End, -2 in Estevan, -1 waking us up in Yorkton, and -4 waking us up in Wynyard. Later on this afternoon, we're seeing temperatures quite a bit above that seasonal average, especially down towards the south. So the average is about 0 degrees for this time of year. We're seeing highs of 8 degrees for Swift Current, Moose Jaw, Weyburn, and Estevan. Through the Battlefords, we're seeing a high of 6 degrees today. That's going to match the high expected for Saskatoon and Regina, and Yorkton as well, and then 5 degrees expected for Prince Albert. Let's take a look at this 7-day forecast. So we know today is 6 degrees for Regina. Tomorrow we're getting warmer. Still seeing a lot of sunshine tomorrow, up to 9 degrees, 14 degrees on Friday. So many places down towards the south on Friday could be reaching those double-digit temperatures. It's going to be a great day to get outside. 0 degrees though on Saturday, so we are seeing quite a dramatic drop in temperatures as we head into the weekend. 3 degrees on Sunday, 3 degrees on Monday, and then 0 degrees on Tuesday with that mix of sun and cloud. Now, for the next few days in Saskatoon, we will be seeing a lot of sunshine. It's into your next work week that we do see those clouds start to increase. Today, though, 7 degrees tomorrow, 7 degrees on Friday, and then dropping down for the weekend as well. -2 on Saturday, 1 degree on Sunday, 1 on Monday, and -2 on Tuesday. Pretty nice temperatures in our rural forecast today, coming along with a whole lot of sunshine. 7 degrees for Kindersley this afternoon, 5 degrees for Wynyard, and 7 degrees for Hudson Bay with that sunshine. Down towards the south, Maple Creek could be entering those double digits today. 10 degrees expected this afternoon. 10 degrees for Coronach as well. Just below that, Rockland up to 9 degrees, Pilot Butte up to 6 degrees, and Carlisle up to 7 degrees. Let's take a look at Bethune, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. 6 degrees is the expected daytime high, a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon, and some southwest winds coming in between 10 to 20 kilometers per hour.
Holiday job postings are a little more plentiful this year, but that's hardly a respite for job seekers, as competition for those positions is expected to be tough, with unemployment still elevated. A new report showing Indeed Canada's Holiday Hiring Trends report, released on Wednesday, late Wednesday, finds seasonal postings so far this winter are up 12% from last year, though still weak relative to prior years. Indeed Canada's senior economist, Brendan Bernard, who authored the report, says demand for seasonal workers generally mimics the broader state of the economy. The last 2 holidays were overshadowed by high interest rates and inflation, which tempered businesses' hiring appetite as households reined in spending. This year, however, consumer spending seems to be stabilizing as many retailers report a fairly solid year. A rebound in technology shares drove stocks higher as a slate of upbeat earnings and optimism that the U.S. government shutdown is nearing an end lifted sentiment. Markets are anticipating an end to the 43-day U.S. government shutdown, with House members set to return to Washington to vote on a spending deal. Traders are betting that the resumption of data releases could bolster the case for interest rate cuts amid uncertainty over the Federal Reserve's next move. The resolution of the last 4 U.S. shutdowns has typically lifted the S&P 500 in most of its sectors based on median performance. Stocks gained after every shutdown since 1995 except early 2018, with consumer shares leading the way. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
These brave people have proven it's never too cold to go golfing. Golfers braved temperatures around -15 as they took part in the Antarctic Clock Golf Championship. Clock golf has 12 tee positions arranged by the hours on the clock and typically have a central hole. Now, typically it's played on grass, but this is a little different. To keep things fair, everyone used the same style of club. Brightly colored balls were also used, as you can see on your screen. And there were golfers from across the world, including Canada here. So there you go.
I mean, you said that this proves that it's never too cold to go golfing. It looks too cold to be golfing.
Too cold for a lot of things, if I'm honest.
Be tough to line up your putts,
Yeah.
it looks like.
But you're telling people for the rest of your life, listen, I've golfed literally everywhere.
Yeah, that would be a cool fun fact for two truths and a lie.
There you go, yeah.
You'd always win that.
And you'd be hungry after, so you'd need a sandwich.
Yes, that's right. So today is actually National French Dip Day, because there's a national day for everything. So we're asking you today, what is your favorite sandwich? Some great answers on the board. One of them, though, agreeing with Daryl.
Oh, hello.
Daryl, you want to explain the
lore of the Brooks Hotel sandwich?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful stop on 2nd Street.
Oh, man.
Bob wrote in and said peanut butter bacon toasted sandwich. It's so tasty. Apparently, I don't know if I'd try that one. Peanut butter, banana, bacon. What? Is it a combo that works?
Bailey's into it.
Oh, yeah, we have some people shaking their heads. Okay. We also had Erica write in and saying, I love a Reuben, but Clubhouse wins as long as it's made correctly. We also had Michelle saying, my favorite sandwich changes with my moods, but lately I've been all about a toasted BLT sandwich with mustard.
I am so hungry now.
How good does that look?
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, Wednesday morning, we haven't had breakfast. We're looking at this just with stomachs growling.
One of my favorites, Kayleen, was when Jeremy accidentally texted producer Nathan instead of his son Nathan, said, you want some of this delicious BLT sandwich?
And it still makes me giggle.
And Nathan was like,
It was really good.
I could actually go for that right now.
And then we all just had to know this knowledge and sit with it that Jeremy makes a delicious BLT sandwich.
Yeah, we still don't know where he lives because he won't invite us over.
But we know that there's BLTs in that house. Richie Roy also wrote in and said, the GOAT, greatest of all time sandwich, the grilled cheese. Nothing can top it.
Sure.
Send us your answers, though. 10400 standard message rates may apply, or you can scan that QR code. We'll share more delicious sandwich options in 1 hour.
Wednesday morning mystery. We are told it is a song. 3 clues to get it right. We've got a good record going. Let's see if we can keep it up. Was the first hip-hop single to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 back in 1990.
Oh,
how old were you, Kayleen, at 1990?
I wasn't in existence for another 7 years.
Yeah, there we go. It was the B-side to Play That Funky Music. Do you know the song Play That?
I do know that song,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Was built on the bass line from Queen and David Bowie's Under Pressure.
Oh, easy one. Okay.
Oh, easy one.
No, I know this.
-7 is coming in with the answer.
Well, I mean,
this is pretty. Oh yeah,
even a 97 baby knows that.
Ice Ice Baby, is that correct? We're going to throw that up. It is Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. We asked if it was hard. Producer Nathan said, meh. That's your morning mystery.
Wow.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
School Day Forecast is brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zone safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in either Regina or Saskatoon, we're at -6 in both cities. Very low winds to start the day, and we'll be seeing those low winds to end the day as well. 4 degrees by lunch for Regina, just below that by lunch in Saskatoon, 3 degrees, and by final bell, both cities will be sitting at those expected daytime highs of 6 degrees. A few more clouds making their way in throughout those afternoon hours. As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina. The common cost to fill up is $1.19.9. You can find regular fuel for as low as $1.09.9. In Saskatoon, the common cost this morning is $1.21.9, and the lowest you might find is $1.17.9. Taking a look at the farm markets now, the street price of canola at $583.92 per ton, and the futures price at $632.50 per ton. Amber Durum wheat at $285.94 per ton to start the day, and red spring wheat at $254.06 per ton. And the Canadian dollar begins the day trading up at 71.33 cents US. After the break, why Canada is losing its status as measles free. That story and more coming up. Stay with us.
7:30, welcome to Your Morning. After 27 years, Canada can no longer say we are a country without measles.
Once the outbreak's declared over, then we will have to work for 12 months to sustain that lack of transmission.
Canada has lost its measles elimination status. The measles outbreak started in October last year. Since then, more than 5,000 cases have been reported. 84% of the cases are in Ontario and Alberta. Ontario declared the outbreak over last month. The outbreak in Alberta is still happening. The spread of the measles has to stop, but for at least 12 months before Canada can be considered measles-free, as you heard in the clip there, by the Pan American Health Association. A homeless encampment in Winnipeg is causing concern for neighbors after it went up in flames earlier this week.
I kind of heard a pop, and then I heard some traffic just honking and honking. So I got up and looked out my back window, and the whole area was just in flames and blazed.
Alan Chorney's yard backs onto the camp and says he's not surprised the fire happened. Chorney says he noticed what happened to be a makeshift heating system installed in one of the structures days before. Chorney says he and his neighbors have had safety concerns that go beyond the risk of fire. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history could come to an end today. House lawmakers are set to vote on a short-term government funding bill that has passed the Senate on Monday. The House Minority Leader says he expects House Democrats to oppose the bill after not receiving the health insurance subsidies they demanded. Jeffries unveiled a proposed amendment calling for a 3-year extension of Obamacare subsidies. If the bill does make it through the final hurdle, things will still take some time to get back up and running. The government shutdown now into its 42nd day. U.S. President Donald Trump say he has an obligation to sue the BBC over a speech edit in a Panorama documentary.
But tonight you are saying to our viewers that you will go forward and file a defamation lawsuit against the BBC.
Well, I think I have an obligation to do it because you can't allow people to do that. We're going to walk down.
In an interview on Fox News, Trump says his January 6, 2021 speech was butchered and the way it was presented defrauded viewers. This is the first time he's spoken publicly about the matter since his lawyers wrote to the BBC saying they'd sue them for $1 billion in damages unless they issued a retraction, an apology, and compensation. A BBC spokesperson says they're reviewing the letter and will respond directly in due course. The two most senior staff of the BBC, Director Tim Davie and Head of News Deborah Turmes, have already resigned. Officials in Turkey have confirmed at least 20 soldiers have died in a transport plane crash. Inspectors have now arrived at the site, which is in Georgia near the border. The plane was on its way back to Turkey when it crashed. Reports from Turkey say it lost contact moments after takeoff and entered into Georgia's airspace. Reports also say there was no distress call before the plane went down. The cargo plane involved is a C-130 Hercules, a widely used military transport plane. OpenAI has lost a copyright case in Europe. A German court ruled the company cannot use song lyrics to train ChatGPT without licenses. The case was filed by a music rights group on behalf of artists behind 9 songs. But it could be a sign of a bigger problem for OpenAI. It's facing several court cases in the U.S. filed by media companies who say their work is being used without permission. An autopsy has revealed the cause of death for original legendary Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley. The former Kiss rocker died of blunt force trauma injuries to the head after he suffered an accidental fall last month. Frehley, considered one of the greatest heavy metal guitarists of all time, is the first of Kiss's 4 founding members to pass away. He was 74. As we learned last month, there are a lot of Blue Jays fans in Saskatchewan, but perhaps none bigger than a woman in Weyburn whose journal chronicling the team is now part of the franchise's history. Jacob Carr reports.
Who's your top 5?
Bo, Maddie, Kurt, Chapman, Springer.
To say Leah Van de Sype was a diehard Blue Jays fan would be an understatement. Van de Sype, who passed away in January of 2023, kept journal logs of every single Toronto game during the final years of her life, according to her son, Brent.
She wouldn't miss. She would give us heck if we stopped by after work and started talking to her and she missed a play.
Though Leah harbored a lot of love for the Jays, she was also not afraid to tell it like it is. Her final journal entry was a scathing review of a 2022 wildcard series loss to the Seattle Mariners, where the Blue Jays blew a 7-run lead.
Basically, up 8-1, go and lose it. How pathetic, unbelievable. So, like I said, she didn't pull any punches.
After Leah passed, Brent had a mission to get her last journal into the hands of the Blue Jays. He was able to get in touch with Jessica Bassett, wife of Blue Jays pitcher Chris Bassett, and arranged to turn over the journal during a Jays home game on May 17th. But on May 8th, Brent's wife Michelle sent Jessica a text saying that this journal is going to bring the team good luck, and did it ever.
The Jays now, Kenny, as I write it down, a Major League best since May 8th, 44-22.
I truly believe that Mom and her love for the Jays, and just to overturn the last game she saw, maybe like a spiritual guardian.
Toronto would then go on a storybook playoff run, culminating in a gut-wrenching loss in Game 7 of the World Series. Despite the agonizing ending to this season, Brent believes his mother has some unfinished business with the team.
Maybe she celebrated too early. Maybe she got into the red wine, turned her back for a second, and those very close calls in the 9th inning went the other way. She's not gonna lay back on that. She's gonna be back next year, and she's gonna see us to a championship.
Time will tell if the Jays' spiritual guardian can help them to one more win next season and the franchise's first championship since 1993. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
The Montreal Alouettes and Saskatchewan Roughriders are both thinking of the big picture as they prepare for Sunday's Grey Cup.
We're a passionate football team, and we want to give everything for the Montreal Alouettes, but for the province of Quebec.
We couldn't be more grateful for our fans, but I mean, as much as we want to get this done for our fans, we love one another in this locker room, and I think that the love of our brothers in our locker room is driving us for this week.
We're started in the playoffs.
The Alouettes are looking to win a second Grey Cup in 3 years, while the Rough Riders are aiming for their first since 2013. One storyline to keep an eye on heading into the weekend: Montreal quarterback Davis Alexander is nursing an injury he sustained in Saturday's East Final. Says he's not 100%, but insists he can play in the big game. Montreal and Saskatchewan also met in 2009's Grey Cup, where the Owls won one of the most memorable Grey Cup games in history. You can watch Sunday's Grey Cup on CTV and TSN. Millions of Americans are waking up to another morning of winter weather. Freezing temperatures from the northeast all the way down to Florida, and heavy snow in the Great Lakes region. Sam Champion reports.
This morning, an early Arctic blast creating chaos for millions of Americans. More than half a foot of snow falling north of Syracuse, New York. Those lake-effect snow bands forcing drivers on Interstate 90 near Erie, Pennsylvania, to take it slow. Slick roads, reduced visibility causing hundreds of crashes reported from the Carolinas to upstate New York. In West Virginia, these slick, icy conditions causing this one, involving a police SUV.
After the police got here, a semi hit the ice, lost control, turned over, then slammed into the police car.
Eric Ambrose wrecked his pickup and watched helplessly as a tractor-trailer slammed into the responding officer's cruiser. Luckily, no one here was seriously injured.
Another shot of those northern lights. They're almost like paint by numbers. This one from Corinne Andreas.
And hey, you know I love a good paint by numbers. But this is beautiful. It's kind of like cotton candy in the sky.
A little bit, yeah. And could we have clear skies for tonight if they were to make another appearance?
Thankfully, we actually are seeing a lot of sunshine this afternoon. A few more clouds making their way in the late afternoon, but then overnight, if you do want to get outside and see those northern lights, they should be visible once again. So send us in those pictures to Your Morning Saskatchewan at CTV.ca. We'd love to show them off. -6 to wake us up in Regina. The sun not quite fully up yet. It should be by about 8:08 this morning. We do have some winds coming in at 13 kilometers per hour in Regina and 15 kilometers per hour in Saskatoon. So low winds to start the day. They're not going to be going up all too much this afternoon. And we're also sitting at -6 to start the day in Saskatoon. Let's take a look at this futurecast now and see what we can expect this afternoon and into tomorrow as well. So not a lot on the screen for Saskatchewan. As you can see, not even a whole lot of cloud cover this afternoon. But then we see some more of that making its way in late in the afternoon and early into the evening hours. And then overnight, we could see some clear skies around the Regina area there. As you can see, a few more clouds in the Saskatoon area, but still not a whole lot for those clouds down towards the south, just up towards the north. Thursday morning, we do see this system making its way in up in the north, though, and it's going to continue on into Thursday afternoon. And then we see it continuing on into Friday, and it actually grows in size as well. Comes with a little bit of that freezing rain as well. So drive safe if you are waking up with us way up north. Into Friday afternoon, we're also going to be seeing some of that enter the central zones as well. Saskatoon could be seeing it late into the evening hours. Let's take a look at this almanac now. So the high today for Regina and Saskatoon, 6 degrees for both cities. The average right around that 0 degree mark for both cities as well. For Regina, it's slightly above. For Saskatoon, it's slightly below. Last year on this day, Regina reached 8.6 degrees, and last year on this day, Saskatoon reached 9.1 degrees. The record for Regina back in 1981 was 20.4, and in 1999, Saskatoon had its record day of 17.4. And if you're wondering when that sun is going to be going down later on this afternoon, about 5:17 for Regina and 5:19 for Saskatoon. Temperatures today, as we just mentioned, that seasonal average really going to be above that in most places, especially down towards the south, where we're seeing temperatures of about 8 degrees for Swift Current, Moose Jaw, Weyburn, and Estevan. Some areas around Coronach could even be reaching 10 degrees. So it's not impossible that we reach some of those double digits in a few places today. For Regina, we could see the double digits on Friday, 14 degrees. So Friday is going to be a really warm day for areas down towards the south. But in the central zones, we're not going to be seeing it quite as warm, but still above that seasonal average until Friday, dropping down for the weekend.
Wardrobe consideration by Colin O'Brien Man's Shop, defining contemporary style for over 20 years.
Taking a look at This Week in Politics as we welcome in MP Michael Cram this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of the talk is going to revolve around the federal budget, but first, congratulations, you just got engaged.
I did get engaged to Rachel just last month, and we're very happy together, and certainly looking forward to spending the rest of our lives together.
Very, very exciting. Yeah. How exciting is this budget for a soon-to-be married couple?
Not very exciting at all, quite frankly. I think that there is not a lot in this budget for Canadians who who are struggling right now. What is most concerning to me is the lack of support for people who are struggling. Mark Carney said that Canadians should judge him based on the price at the grocery store. That was 6 months ago, and since then grocery prices have continued to go up and up and up. And what's most concerning to me is the rising food bank use in this country. In any given month, about 2.2 million Canadians access the food bank. That's about double what it was 6 years ago. So things are certainly not going in the right direction, and this budget doesn't seem to offer any relief.
Is 6 months enough time to turn that thing around? Because that's a big task.
Well, the problem is that they don't seem to have any plan to reduce grocery prices. The Conservatives have been saying we should cancel the industrial carbon tax, we should cancel the federal fuel standard, we should cancel certain federal government regulations regarding plastics in food packaging. All of these costs are passed on to consumers in one way or another, and there doesn't seem to be any willingness on the part of the Liberals to take any steps in that direction at all.
So what's next?
Well, we go back to Ottawa next week, and the budget will be voted on next week. And I'm not supporting the budget, and the Conservatives are not. But it looks like the NDP will be propping up the Liberals again. And so I'm not anticipating a fall election, but we'll have to wait and see how the vote goes next week.
Does the fall if this budget were to fail, would an election not cost Canadians more?
Well, elections do come with a cost. That's the cost of doing business. But we have to have some plan out of this cost of living crisis that we've seen over the last several years. I would like to have seen the Liberals put something forward to address these issues, but unfortunately they are not, and unfortunately they campaigned on doing that exactly 6 months ago. So for that reason, Conservatives are not supporting the budget, but I strongly suspect the NDP will, and I am not expecting an election.
A lot of things happening in the city and the community in your riding. Yesterday I saw you were at the Brand Centre for the memorial laying of wreath at the cenotaph. What did that mean to you?
Well, it is certainly very meaningful to know that we live in a free country, thanks in large part to the sacrifices that have been made by our veterans. What was particularly meaningful to me, a few weeks ago, I attended the funeral of Ozzie Lackness. He was the last World War II veteran in Regina. So the living memory of Regina's World War II veterans are all gone, and so we should take a minute to remember, and that's what Remembrance Day is certainly all about.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us, paying your respects yesterday, of course, and good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Michael Cram is the MP for one of the Regina ridings. Here's what's happening in our community. A tea and bake sale happens Friday, November 14th at 2 p.m. out in Sturgis at the Grace United Church, 306-547-7068. Holiday Market happening Saturday, November 15th, 10 to 4 p.m. 4720 Castle Road. Admission is free. Santa's Workshop Craft and Trade Show, Saturday, November 15th, starts at 10:30 a.m. at Broadway United Church, 105 Broadway Avenue. Admission is also free. Online bake sale, pre-order November 16th. Pickup December 13th, Lakeview United Church, 3200 McCallum Avenue. LakeviewChurch.ca for more. If you'd like your event shown here, email us, regina.community@bellmedia.ca, but please do so at least 2 weeks in advance.
Adam Scully here inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for it, we're heading to Boston. Bruins taking on the Leafs. Check out the passing play to spring David Pastrnak on the breakaway. Walks in, undresses Dennis Hill to beat. Great setup from his teammates. And an even better finish by Pasta for his 400th career goal, making him the 6th Bruin to ever reach the milestone. He would score again later for Boston's 7th straight win. That is your must-see moment. NBA action tonight on TSN as the Knicks host the Magic. New York is a perfect 5-0 so far on its 7-game homestand. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
November 12th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a first birthday shout out going out to Brianna. Happy birthday to you. Brianna's mom, dad, and big sister sending in this shout out. A big happy birthday going out to Nellie today for her 3rd birthday. We hope you have a wonderful day with lots of love from your mom, dad, and Winnie. Happy birthday to Chris. He is now officially 40 years old. Have a great day, Chris. Lots of love coming your way from Daisy and family. Also marking another trip around the sun is Glenda. Happy birthday to you. We hope you have a wonderful day filled with love from everyone around you. And happy anniversary wishes going out to Beverly and Grant Switzer from Mankota. They're marking 60 years of love and devotion. Your family is sending in this shout out with a whole lot of love. If you have anything that you would like to celebrate, send us your milestones to Your Morning Saskatchewan at CTV.ca. You can also scan that QR code on your screen. Please make sure you send those in one day in advance.
Chase, what's happening on the radio dial today?
Well, we've had some gorgeous temperatures lately. It's been pretty okay here for this time of November, but you know that cold is going to hit us at some point, and we want to make sure you are escaping it. You are coming with us for Boots on the Beach, flying out to Mazatlan January 30th. Dean Brody part of that trip as well, and you could win your way in. So you can already go to PureCountry927.ca, get registered, and then get ready, because starting up on Monday, we're going to call out names, and it's going to be an all-out race. So we'll call out 2 names at 7, 9, and 3. And if you are the first of the 2 to hear your name to call back, that's it. You are qualified for Boots on the Beach. You'll go into the grand prize draw, and then you can be flying out to Mexico with us.
If you're staying here, are you still doing snow pitch? Is that coming back?
Snow pitch will be coming back. Okay. That's going to be in March, though, so that's long away. Oh. And we've handed that over to Regina. Slow pitch is going to be taken over, too. So beautiful. We'll be helping out, but we're talking Mexico, January. It's going to be perfect.
Sand in the toes. Thanks, Chase.
Thanks, Daryl.
Do you make money at this little table tennis thing?
Not yet.
Do you have a job?
No.
A new trailer for Timothée Chalamet's new movie, Marty Supreme, is out. Chalamet stars as an up-and-coming professional table tennis player, which is already generating Oscar buzz. Gwyneth Paltrow also stars. It hits theaters on Christmas Day. The Eagles are adding final dates in 2026 to their residency at the Las Vegas Sphere. 4 new shows are scheduled for late March. Tickets for next year's shows go on sale to the general public on November 21st.
Who wasn't a fan of the Golden Girls? I don't think we'd seen anything like that on TV before.
The Golden Girls, 40 Years of Laughter and Friendship, is now out on Disney Plus and Hulu. The special edition of 2020 looks at the lasting cultural phenomenon of the beloved 80s sitcom that starred Betty White, B. Arthur, Estelle Getty, and Rue McClanahan. The show took home a total of 11 Emmy Awards, including 1 for each of the 4 main cast members. Disney is the parent company of ABC News.
Hi, everybody.
And happy birthday to Anne Hathaway. She rose to fame with The Princess Diaries in 2001 and won an Oscar for Les Mis in 2012. Anne Hathaway turns 43 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Rena Roy, ABC News.
Positive about my birthday?
The best part of a hike is the view, which depends on who you are.
I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary.
For this woman, it's the view of her car. So relieved and happy to be there after 3 hours of hiking. Some others come into the green, saying it's the best part of the hike, just going home.
I understand this woman on such a deep level. I mean, being from Alberta, my friends always used to want to go hike in Banff. And it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, but oh my goodness, is that ever hard work? I loved the look of the car.
Yeah, the drive home is the best part.
I love hiking, but an hour or less, please.
Yes, a short little trail with a nice view.
I think that's called a walk. Go ahead.
Okay, well, if you're feeling a little tired today, maybe you and your coworkers should try this. Me up. These 2 office buddies sure know how to make each other feel better when one is down. Such an easy way to put a smile on someone else's face.
Did Mike do this for you, Jeremy? Is he willing?
We'll put one of these together after the show. We'll have it for you tomorrow.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
I hope you have a selfie stick on hand. Time out. We got your weather forecast. More shots of the northern lights to share with you, and of course your news in just a minute. It's Wednesday, November 12th.
Even if it's not a perfect match, there'll be some degree of protection.
Doctors say some vaccine protection is better than none as the country braces for what could be a rough flu season. Paying respects to Canada's war veterans. A look back at yesterday's ceremonies.
Multi-year captain of the Raiders works it up the left side for Meunier. Pass down low and a shot. They score.
Red hot Raiders continue to roll. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kaylee. Happy Wednesday.
Lots of pictures still to show you. They keep coming into our inbox of the Northern Lights. Brenda sent us this one and sent a few in. This was the one that I picked. Look at the colors in that.
The red on this one. Typically we see a whole lot of the green, but we've been seeing a lot of those pinks and reds.
The crazy thing about yesterday, we said, was you didn't even need to, usually you have to take a shot of the sky with your camera to really see the vibrancy. You didn't.
No, like I walked out this morning, 3 a.m., and immediately just saw it dancing in the sky. Beautiful.
My goodness. All right. Well, lots of colors. We can share those throughout the day. Your Morning Saskatchewan at ctv.ca is the email address. If you want to share a picture, that includes birthdays. If you send them to the old address, they ain't getting on the air. Let's get over to news. A high-stakes meeting is set for today at the G7 Foreign Ministers Summit in Niagara. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will meet with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio amid rising tensions between the two countries. Today's one-on-one between the top diplomats is the first since trade talks were suspended. They're expected to discuss critical mineral development and economic resilience. Canada has invited other countries outside the G7 to the summit in an effort of finding more trading partners.
Meeting global challenges requires global partnerships. The issues we are facing transcend the G7 and our borders.
All right, the summit will also hear from Ukraine's foreign minister as Russia escalates its war by targeting the Ukrainian power grid. The attacks have brought rolling blackouts to Ukraine as winter approaches, and the top U.S. diplomatic efforts have remained at a standstill. It could be a rough flu season, they're telling us, across the country. Here's Heather Wright with why.
A severe strain and a mismatch vaccine could mean a bad flu season for Canada.
The specific strain we're worried about this year is called H3N2. It tends to have more severe seasons.
Though not a direct indicator, countries in the north always look to the south for clues to how the upcoming flu season might unfold, as theirs starts earlier. And in Australia, this year was particularly bad. The highest number of lab-confirmed cases ever amid declining vaccination rates. Another challenge, the vaccine developed for the upcoming flu season is not a perfect match to the strain circulating.
You try and predict what's going to emerge, but the virus mutates very quickly. And some years that match is very good. Some years it's not as good. We may be running into a situation this year, and I think may is the important word because it's not a perfect prediction where the match is not as good.
This year's flu vaccine targets 2 influenza A strains, including a subtype of H3N2, as well as an influenza B strain. Doctors say some protection is better than no protection.
Even if it's not a perfect match, there'll be some degree of protection. You might still get sick, but you might be protected from, for example, hospitalization or pneumonia, or the more severe consequences of infection.
The Public Health Agency of Canada says it's far too early to predict whether Canada will see a severe flu season. Among the factors that will have an impact are the effectiveness of the vaccine, but also other respiratory illnesses like RSV and COVID. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Let's turn our attention to Jeremy Dodge and some of Saskatchewan's Remembrance Day ceremonies. Jeremy?
Daryl, Saskatchewan's largest Remembrance Day ceremony was hosted at Saskatoon's SaskTel Centre yesterday. Hallie Mandrick was there.
Nearly 5,000 people filled the seats of SaskTel Centre on the morning of November 11th to acknowledge the service of brave Canadians.
All my life as I was growing up, Remembrance Day was about 11 o'clock. Then I became a chaplain for the military, and I realized it's way, way bigger than that.
Ivan Nahachowski says Remembrance Day comes with a lot of emotions, which extend far beyond this particular service.
Those who are wounded and can't be here for whatever reasons, they can't be in public. The ones who are mourning their loved ones who have died, that's real. There are people who are, this isn't just like a civic holiday, a national event. This is very personal.
The Nahachowski family is one of many that has several ties to the Canadian Armed Forces. Ivan's wife, Deborah Nahachowski, works with young cadet members, and she emphasized the importance of teaching the next generation about the significance of Remembrance Day.
The reason we have our freedom and we have democracy and all of that is because of these people who went before us. And by being in the cadet program, we do talk about that, and they do get some of that knowledge.
Both Ivan and Deborah Nahachowski shared that the sight of a large audience on Tuesday was very meaningful.
There's a lot of other things people could be doing today, and they're realizing that they have a day off, the significance of it. They show it by showing up here, that they realize what the purpose of Remembrance Day is.
Adding hope that those in attendance acknowledge the greater meaning of Remembrance Day.
I hope they feel grateful that Canada is a free country and that we can be who we are, that we're not being bombed or shot at. I hope the major feeling is gratitude.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan's police watchdog is investigating after a 35-year-old man died in the Saskatoon Police Service detention unit Monday morning. Police say the man went into medical distress around 9:30 a.m. shortly after he was arrested for an alleged assault on Avenue Q South. Police say the incident involved a 5-year-old girl and a 40-year-old woman and is under investigation by the Serious Assault Unit. The serious incident response team's been notified and is now leading the investigation into the man's death. Well, Daryl, Canadians reacting to the federal budget in a new poll.
Yeah, this new poll finds Canadian households aren't expecting much relief from the budget, which is expected to come up for third reading tomorrow. A Leger poll released this week shows that 30% of respondents approve of the budget, but only 15% of households think it will financially benefit them on a personal basis. 32% believe it will have a negative impact. The poll found the Liberal budget scored broad approval for their economic measures, but failed to meet the needs of Canadians on affordability. Many Canadians say they'll be spending less this holiday season as they work through the higher cost of living. This is according to a new survey from insolvency firm Harris & Partners. Almost 72% of Canadians surveyed say they will cut back on Christmas spending this year. About 62% say they do not feel financially prepared for the holidays. 53% have anxiety about affording it. Montreal is still cleaning up this morning after seeing more snow than expected this week.
Snow becomes very wet, sticky, like glue. The freezing rain, add to that, add a little bit more ice pellets and snow grains, and you've got this ugly mixture.
Climatologist David Phillips says the system stayed for 50 hours, and that included just about everything from snow to freezing rain to ice pellets. 20 centimeters of snow was dumped on Montreal, nearly 4 times what Environment Canada had predicted, which said it didn't expect the snow band to shift as far west as it did. Power was knocked out to some 200,000 customers. Most outages, though, have been restored. Millions of Americans are waking up to another morning of freezing weather as well. Freezing temperatures from the northeast, all the way down to Florida. Heavy snow around the Great Lakes region. Sam Champion tracking it all.
This morning, an early Arctic blast creating chaos for millions of Americans. More than half a foot of snow falling north of Syracuse, New York. Those lake-effect snow bands forcing drivers on Interstate 90 near Erie, Pennsylvania, to take it slow. Slick roads, reduced visibility causing hundreds of crashes reported from the Carolinas to upstate New York. In West Virginia, these slick, icy conditions causing this one, involving a police SUV.
After the police got here, a semi hit the ice, lost control, turned over, then slammed into the police car.
Eric Ambrose wrecked his pickup and watched helplessly as a tractor-trailer slammed into the responding officer's cruiser. Luckily, no one here was seriously injured.
Dangerous stuff. Hey, the Prince Albert Raiders, red hot, continued their winning ways yesterday.
Multi-year captain of the Raiders works it up the left side for Meunier. Pass down low and a shot. They score.
Evan Smith had a pair of goals on the night, including that one there as the Raiders beat the Everett Silvertips 4-1. They are now second in the Eastern Conference.
Now Doyle. He skates his way. Now back right side across. One-timer and they score.
Hunter Lang, pair of goals. He's got 10 on the year now as the Swift Current Broncos fall to the Saskatoon Blades 4-1. Lang is a 6th-round pick of the Calgary Flames. Blades are 4th in the East. The Montreal Alouettes and Saskatchewan Roughriders are both thinking of the big picture as they prepare for Sunday's Grey Cup.
We're a passionate football team, and we want to give everything for the Montreal Alouettes, but for the province of Quebec.
We couldn't be more grateful for our fans, but I mean, as much as we want to get this done for our fans, we love one another in this locker room, and I think that the love of our brothers in our locker room is driving us for this week.
We're started in the playoffs.
There you go. The Alouettes looking for their second Grey Cup in 3 years, while the Riders aiming for their first since 2013. One storyline to keep an eye on as we head into the weekend is quarterback for the Montreal Alouettes, Davis Alexander, nursing an injury, lower body injury sustained in Saturday's East Final. Says he's not 100%, but insists he can play. Montreal and Saskatchewan also met in 2009's Grey Cup, where the Owls won one of the most memorable Grey Cup matches in history. You can watch the Grey Cup Sunday on CTV or the mighty TSN. Let's turn our attention to the weather picture, find out what it's going to be like on this beautiful upcoming weekend, which is almost here already. It's already Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we're seeing nice temperatures for today and through until Friday, but unfortunately for the weekend, we do see those temperatures going down. Let's take a look outside right now, though, since that sun is now finally up. We can take a look at this morning view in all of its glory. It's brought to you by recyclemyelectronics.ca, where you can find a drop-off location near you. -6 in Regina. We have some winds coming in at 17 kilometers per hour for Regina and 13 kilometers per hour in Saskatoon. Clear skies to wake us up as we wake up to that -6 degree temperature in Saskatoon as well. Winds are going to remain fairly low for most places in the province today. The highest winds we'll be seeing are right around Hudson Bay, where we could see those gusts up to about 40 kilometers per hour. Still, all things considered, not so bad. That southwest corner, really not going to be seeing any of those winds today. Very calm throughout the afternoon. Futurecast not showing a whole lot either. It's rather a boring weather report today. We're seeing not a lot of cloud cover into the afternoon, but then we see it throughout the overnight hours, making its way into Thursday. We do see that weather system that's making its way into parts of the north in Saskatchewan there, bringing quite a bit of snow with it. That system going to grow in size, and then yes, it will bring some of those light flurries to areas around Prince Albert and Saskatoon, but that's likely not going to be until late on Friday. Current temperatures now showing -1 for Buffalo Narrows, 0 degrees in La Ronge, -2 to wake us up in Melfort this morning, -2 in Hudson Bay as well, -4 in Kindersley, -2 in Moose Jaw, and -3 to wake us up in Estevan this morning. Later on this afternoon, seeing temperatures above that seasonal average really all across the province today. Swift Current up to 8 degrees, and also at that 8-degree mark will be Moose Jaw, Weyburn, and Estevan. Just below that, Yorkton at 7 degrees, and then Battlefords, Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and Regina all expecting that high of 6 degrees today. Getting warmer tomorrow, up to 9 degrees for Regina, and then getting into those double digits for Friday, 14 degrees. What a beautiful Friday we're expecting. And then dropping down rather significantly on Saturday, down to about 0 degrees, 3 degrees on Sunday with that nice mix of sun and cloud, 3 degrees on Monday, and then 0 degrees on Tuesday. If you're waking up with us in Saskatoon, here's your 7-day forecast. Slightly warmer tomorrow, up to about 7 degrees, and then 7 degrees on Friday as well. Winds are going to be going up on Friday, though. On Saturday, dropping down to -2, 1 degree on Sunday, 1 degree on Monday, and -2 on Tuesday.
Let's take a look back in history. November 12th, 2012, Joe Sakic, Pavel Bure, Mats Sundin, and Adam Oates inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. November 12th, 2017, Prince Charles led the UK's Remembrance Sunday for the first time, taking over the role held by the Queen for more than 60 years. November 12th, 1931, Maple Leaf Gardens opened. Chicago beat the Maple Leafs 2-1.
Well, in case you missed it, it may seem like a mundane chore, but folding laundry needs 100% of your focus, or else something like this could happen. Yeah, I made the mistake of turning on a movie while attempting to fold laundry. Looks like the movie won. Laundry's still in the basket. He set himself up for failure from the start. We knew this was going to happen.
Okay,
right?
Movies are a no, but you know what is a great trick for folding your laundry?
Okay.
When I was growing up, my family and I would play Mario Party on Sundays. It was laundry day. If it wasn't your turn in the game, you had to fold your laundry. Okay,
I went downstairs at midnight to get a glass of water last night, and there was my wife, all the laundry folded on the couch, and she's... I'm like, Sarah, huh? What? Huh? What time is... Oh. Laundry got folded.
What can you do?
Don't know what time she went to bed. Question of the day, what is your favorite sandwich is the question.
Yeah.
What are the answers?
A lot of great answers today, but honestly, the number one that keeps coming in is the grilled cheese and different variations of it too. I'll show you that in just a moment, but I want to start off with this one. Nathan, producer Nathan, said, my favorite sandwich is this BLT Jeremy offered me. Still haven't tried it though.
It does look delicious.
I want to go over to the Dodge House and I want to try a famous Jeremy Dodge BLT.
He constructs a sandwich.
This is iconic. Okay, more answers up here. Lori says, my favorite is a grilled cheese. Another answer saying the Monte Cristo, famous one for a reason, right? Marie saying grilled cheese with red pepper jelly and Gouda as well.
Yes,
How good does that sound?
Pretty Gouda.
All right, Julius wrote in with that fry bread, Grayson bologna sandwich. And we also had, of course, love for that Brooks sandwich that Carol was talking about earlier on in this show. The next one we chatted about earlier, and I wanted to talk about it again because Bailey actually, she explained it to me in the commercial break. This peanut butter and banana bacon toasted sandwich that Bob wrote in. I thought, what a random combination of ingredients. No, it's a thing, she said. She even talked about how Elvis loved the peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Okay. So, okay. And then we had Erica write in saying a Reuben, but Clubhouse wins as long as it's made correctly. We have to make them correctly. Thank you so much for answering today's question of the day.
A new skincare brand for children is facing serious backlash. The company, called Rini, created by actress Shay Michelle, says its products are safe for toddlers as young as 3 years old. But that is raising concern among both doctors and parents. Stephanie Gosk has more.
What is Rini? This morning, a new skincare line for kids igniting a fierce debate.
When did we start to think that 3-year-olds need to be obsessed by anti-aging or makeup?
Rini, which means children in Korean, is a new company from actress-turned-entrepreneur Shay Mitchell and 2 of her friends. Mitchell says it was inspired by her own experience with her 2 daughters wanting face masks she thought were inappropriate.
The ingredients in these masks are crazy. They're actually shouldn't be used for kids at all.
Her beauty brand has face masks designated for growing faces ages 3 and over.
We are committed to being dermatologist tested, hypoallergenic, vegan, cruelty-free.
Mitchell says it's not about beauty, but self-care that's fun, gentle, and safe. But some parents and healthcare providers are not so sure.
At age 3, the only thing I think we should be considering is getting them into a little habit of being clean and just hygiene.
Generation Alpha, which includes children ages 15 and younger, has been swarming into beauty stores, dubbed on social media as Sephora Kids. They spent $4.7 billion on beauty and skincare in 2023 alone. That demand is driving new so-called skinfluencers on social media.
Get ready with me for my best friend's pool party.
Like 11-year-old Naya, the star of a viral TikTok account run by her mom, Ashley.
I've learned a lot about skincare and makeup. I've learned how to have a lot of fun with my mom. This one's kid-friendly.
The pair says it's a way to start healthy routines together.
Yeah, if your children are old enough to be curious about it, it's time to have a conversation.
When it comes to using preventive skincare products, doctors say kids should wait until puberty.
Wait till there is an issue, when their skin actually changes, then you start targeting their skin with specific products.
Health Report, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
Greetings, everyone. Since 2022, the City of Regina has given youth under the age of 14 free access to public transit. Now, Acausa's First Nation artist has teamed up with a local group combining art and advocacy to promote the idea of free public transit for youth 18 and under. The lights of a city bus shining bright, turning the nighttime into daytime. It's the latest mural concept brought to life by up-and-coming artist Jada Delorme. Located near downtown Regina, Delorme says onlookers may recognize a familiar landscape.
In my art, I always include the land of the living skies, hence why the sky is so bright and colorful. I include water in my own art style to beautify wherever my art ends up, because that's what we're celebrating is our connection to our land.
The mural was created in collaboration with Better Bus Youth, an advocacy group seeking to make public transportation free for all youth in Regina.
I just hope that we can get up to a level where our land is not so polluted, so that we see beautiful murals like this more often, have more of a inclusive community here in the city, and have more chances to show them how loud our voices can really become.
The idea of free transportation for Regina youth is catching on in the city.
And we really, as a community, want to enhance transit and public transportation in our community. So we're really thrilled as the Salvation Army to be able to lend a wall to this project and beautify our neighborhood and be part of something really exciting.
This is the second mural collaboration between Delorme and Better Bus Youth. In 2023, the duo created this mural in downtown Regina, depicting passengers taking in some Saskatchewan scenery. The new mural can be found at the back of the Salvation Army Men's Shelter. It took 3 weeks to create with the help of 10 volunteers, including residents who live in the building.
They connected to it. They connected to the colors. They connected to my art style. They connected to me. And it was beautiful because I feel like lots of the time people forget that they're people too. And it was just beautiful being able to connect with everybody.
Both murals were funded by the David Suzuki Foundation in an effort to keep the conversation going and the wheels turning on better fare rates for youth and the hope of a greener tomorrow. If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle is brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. It is 8:28. U.S. President Donald Trump says he has an obligation to sue the BBC over an edit to a speech.
But tonight you are saying to our viewers that you will go forward and file a defamation lawsuit against the BBC.
Well, I think I have an obligation to do it because you can't allow people to do that.
We're going to
walk down.
In an interview on Fox News, Trump says his January 6, 2021 speech was butchered and the way it was presented defrauded viewers. This is the first time he's spoken publicly about the matter since his lawyers wrote to the BBC saying he'd sue them for $1 billion in damages unless they issued a retraction, apology, and compensation. A BBC spokesperson says they're reviewing the letter and will respond directly in due course. The two most senior staff at the BBC have already resigned. The provincial government has introduced legislation that clears an obstacle for potash companies. Underground mining operations are often hampered when mineral rights holders cannot be located. It means ore that could be mined has to be left behind. The new legislation will allow potash companies to mine such areas with the royalties held in trust by the government.
And we are running into those situations which then cause us to have to mine in ways that are very inefficient, and or we leave those minerals behind, stranded forever. We can't go back and mine at a later date. So really, the province then loses out, as do we, as does the owner of those minerals.
The NDP says it will support that legislation. Prince Albert will receive $3.6 million in provincial support for its police service. Jasmine Peltier on what that means.
Last year, the Prince Albert Police Service saw 26 positions supported through provincial funding. The police service says the number of supported positions will soon be rising to 33.
The Prince Albert Police Service does have a hefty ask when it comes to the municipality and the residents of Prince Albert. We know that we take up a large proportion of the municipal budget.
A portion of $3.6 million in funding delivered through the 2025-26 Municipal Police Grant Program will go to support positions in the police and crisis team to respond to mental health crises.
City councils and municipal police services are best equipped to know what to do about public safety concerns that are affecting their own communities.
Other supported positions will include roles in the Missing Persons Task Force, the Internet Child Exploitation Unit, the Saskatchewan Trafficking Response Team, the Crime Reduction Team, and Combined Traffic Services Saskatchewan. Half of the supported traffic services positions will be funded through SGI.
Making sure that we have individuals that are well trained, individuals that can do competent investigations, individuals that are trained in doing proactive initiatives, so that we're bringing individuals that come into our community for committing crime, we're going to hold people accountable.
The Prince Albert Police Service says the city covers additional costs, often associated with equipment and training. The municipal funding comes from tax revenue.
Depending on what the provincial funding is per position, eventually we may be facing an increase because the allocation isn't quite enough anymore with inflation and with wage increases.
The province says it is supporting policing positions in 9 municipalities, including 7 positions in North Battleford and 7 in Meadow Lake. Jasmine Peltier, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Canadians across the country are keeping their poppies close to their hearts this time of year. One University of Saskatchewan student is taking it a step further. Hallie Mandrick explains.
Corporal Fitkrit Ukis was inspired to take on a unique project after he first saw a flower that carries a lot of meaning.
When I was in my parents' backyard last summer, I saw a wild poppy growing. I've never seen a poppy in my life, and I thought about it. I don't really see any poppies growing around Remembrance Day.
Wild poppies can be found in Saskatchewan, but they aren't very common due to the specific growing conditions required for them to thrive. After some trial and error, Ukis reached out to the University of Saskatchewan, where he studies horticulture science, to try growing the flowers in the campus greenhouse. Now, the flowers are on display in the school's agriculture building for everyone to enjoy.
I've been seeing a lot of students taking photos and videos of the poppy as well. So I'm very happy to see students and faculties, and even just people from the public, taking a time and moment to reflect back to the poppies, which fills me with a lot of pride and joy.
The history of wearing poppies around Remembrance Day dates back to 1915, when John McCrae wrote a poem about the First World War titled In Flanders Fields. The poem is often read at ceremonies across Canada on November 11th.
I first heard a poem like every other Canadian students in elementary school, and I truly love that poem. It means to me a field of a bunch of heroes just sacrificing their own life for the greater good for Canada, but also for the rest of the world, the rest of our allies.
UKIS shared hope that the flowers will serve as an important reminder for those who see them.
I feel like peace, just like a plant, all these poppies, must be nurtured or it can be lost. And I feel like this is something we should really reflect back on too.
UKIS says he plans to take what he learned while growing the poppies this year and grow more next Remembrance Day with the help of the university. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Science and snacks, they're converging in the middle of America. Brad Hicks shows us how satellites are helping farmers gain valuable insights from space.
If you've ever eaten Doritos, good chance Joe Walgren grew the corn in those chips.
We grow a lot of grain for them.
He doesn't just harvest with his combine, he collects information.
It's just a wonderful tool to gather data.
And farming on the scale he does, good data can save dollars. But for decades, a key piece of that data puzzle has been missing. Farmers could measure how much water they pumped, but not where that water was going.
Just because the water gets poured onto the field doesn't mean the crop is actually consuming that water.
And across the High Plains, that's a problem. The High Plains Aquifer, the biggest in America, holds a lot of water.
You could fill several of the Great Lakes.
But some parts have become dangerously overdrawn.
There's areas where we've pumped so much water that we can't get water out of it anymore.
So to better measure where the water is going, Jim Schneider and his team are looking to the sky.
They've been flying these satellites around the Earth since 1985. It's called the Landsat satellites.
The satellites use thermal sensors to measure evapotranspiration, ET, which shows how much water crops and soil are sending back into the atmosphere.
ET is usually the missing component to balance the water budget.
But until recently, that information wasn't widely available. A cooperative effort called OpenET is changing that. OpenET puts the Landsat information in a format farmers can actually use.
The lighter yellow colors are less ET and the darker is more ET. If you zoom in, you can see that it's being measured on a field-by-field basis.
So it's literally telling us how much water the crops are using. It's really beyond what we were ever able to do in the past.
That's better data. That's actionable data.
A little science in your snack, coming from space. In Nebraska, Brad Hicks reporting.
How about this? A Saskatoon bowler has rolled himself into the record books at just 21.
When you get that close, everybody stops and watches. There's nobody else bowling in the bowling alley.
Bonnick does what many of us dream of, achieved what many bowlers hope. They spent a lifetime chasing it. A perfect game on the national stage. He accomplished the feat at the National Youth 10-Pin Championship in Quebec, getting 12 strikes in a row, earning himself a 300. That's a perfect game. The score this week was also honored with the prestigious Perfect Game ring. There it is on your screen. Bonnick says his next goal is to bowl 3 perfect games in a row. Yeah, isn't it for all of us? My goodness. Let's turn our attention to another stunning picture of the Northern Lights. This one comes from Regina. I had to show this one off because if I'm going to show off my golden retriever, I have to give some love to Maureen's dog, Cooper.
Oh.
Or Copper, rather. Carbon.
Carbon, I think, yeah.
I'm renaming this dog 7 times on TV. There you go.
All right. Well, beautiful photos there. We saw a lot of beautiful photos. I even got to see it with my own eyes when I woke up to come to work this morning.
Mine are apparently groggy. I couldn't see carbon in the teleprompter. What's going on, Kaylee?
I was looking at the teleprompter thinking, he'll get there. He'll get there. All right, let's take a look at this morning view. We're at minus 6 right now in Regina. Mix of sun and clouds right now, so a few more clouds have made their way over top of the city in the past few minutes. Winds currently coming in at 17 kilometers per hour in Regina and 13 kilometers per hour in Saskatoon. Minus 6 also to start the day in Saskatoon. A little bit more sunshine there to start the day, not seeing as much of those clouds. Now the futurecast showing that later on into this afternoon, we are going to be seeing just a few more clouds making their way into the area. Not seeing that precipitation though, and that's what we are expecting for areas way up north. This is at about 4:15 p.m. on Thursday that you're looking at, so it's going to be coming in mainly for the day tomorrow, and that system is really going to grow in size as we make our way overnight into Friday morning. Also going to be sticking around into Friday afternoon, but again, that's way up north that we're expecting to see that. Saskatoon could be seeing some very light flurries into Friday evening and overnight. Other than that, we're not really seeing any more snow in our 7-day forecast. Now, for that almanac here, Regina and Saskatoon showing that we're going to be seeing highs of about 6 degrees today. The average for this time of year is right around that 0 degree mark for both cities. So for Regina, it's just above at 0.8 degrees. For Saskatoon, just below at minus 0.5 degrees. Last year in Regina, we reached 8.6 degrees in the afternoon. And last year in Saskatoon, 9.1 degrees. The record for Regina back in the year 1981 was 20.4. And in 1999, that record for Saskatoon on this day, November 12th, was 17.4 degrees. The sun going to be going down in both cities just after 5:15 p.m. this evening. Today's forecast, seeing warmer temperatures down towards the south today, so 8 degrees for Swift Current, Moose Jaw, Weyburn, and Estevan. Areas around Coronach down towards the south could be reaching into those double digits today, up to about 10 degrees, so that's going to be nice to see. Regina could be seeing double digits by Friday, where we're expecting a high of 14 degrees, if you can believe it, in mid-November. Beautiful temperatures, really. Dropping down, though, on the weekend, down to about 0 degrees on Saturday and 3 degrees on Sunday. In Saskatoon, 7 degrees tomorrow and on Friday, so the central zone not going to be seeing those double digits that we're seeing down towards the south on Friday, and then dropping down more on Saturday, down to about -2 with that mix of sun and cloud, and then 1 degree expected on Sunday. Again, a nice mix of sun and clouds.
Well, you'd normally find him outstanding in his field, but not this morning. Ted Cockwell joins us in studio today. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Nice to have you in here, as always. Ted, let's focus on sellers this month, specifically when it comes to pricing strategy. What does a prospective seller need to focus on?
Well, you know, we do a lot of the heavy lifting for them. So we do a really in-depth analysis, first of all, on the quality of their land, and then a comparative market analysis. So looking at the comparable sales that are in line with their specific quality. So we do all of that for them. And then what we do is we have a bit of a strategy to that. And we walk them through all that. And all that they need to do is give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the price that we bring them.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty simple.
Very simple.
But I guess there would be a bit of a danger, perhaps, when you talk about, you know, pricing something aggressively versus being way out to lunch, way overvalued. What's the danger of listing too high?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So a lot of sellers have this old mentality that you can always come down, and they think if they list higher, they're going to sell higher. And that's simply not true. We've proven it through, you know, $500 million worth of sales. We've tracked all the data, and we can see that listing aggressively is good. We want our sellers to have the top selling price in their area. So we have to be aggressive. But going to that next level of overpriced can really hurt them. It can make their listings sit on the market too long. They don't have as much chance of getting multiple offers, and you know, the listing just starts to look stale after a while.
Interesting. And is it just simply that? I mean, if you're looking around for land and you're seeing X, Y, Z, and then a B out there, it just doesn't fit?
That's right. Yeah, they'll just move on to the next one. There's a lot of overpriced farm listings right now, and people just look at it and go, oh, there's another tire kicker, and they just sort of pass it out.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's good insight, and certainly a trusted professional such as yourself can really help you find that sweet spot, right?
Exactly. That's what we do. And, you know, the whole name of the game is to sell for as much money as possible, and that can be done with that perfect target price. And we've found that overpriced listings actually sell for less than an aggressively priced listing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm just thinking, right? I mean, if I'm in the market and I see a listing that's been up there for, I don't know, 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, no offers, I think it's too high. I might come in with the lowball offer, and if we've got a situation where you got to let it go, she gone.
Yeah, and especially right now, because I think we're in a market right now where things are cooling off a bit, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be in the marketplace a long time, because it's probably a better time to sell today than it's going to be 6 months down the road.
All right, well, there you go. If you are looking to buy or sell, simply want some more information, get in touch with Ted and the team. You're experts in the field at cockwellgroup.com.
but I keep coming back like a revolving door. Say I don't want you less, but I just want you more. Say I keep coming back. The way you got me all in my head. Think I'd rather you in my bed. We dreaming hard, we came so far now. I believe we're going up,
American researchers have used ground-penetrating radar to study a site in eastern Turkey said to be the location of Noah's Ark. Of course, the boat in the Genesis flood narrative. Keir Simmons reports from Turkey.
Imagine these mountains millennia ago submerged by floods. And in this beautiful biblical landscape named in the Old Testament, the shape of a ship. The book of Genesis says Noah landed here in the mountains of Ararat. So, could this really be Noah's Ark? New research shared with Today hints at that extraordinary conclusion. Believers have been drawn to this site in Turkey, close to the Iranian border, since it mysteriously emerged after an earthquake in the 1940s.
You're here.
Christian researcher Andrew Jones from California says the dimensions match.
In chapter 6 of Genesis, it talks about a 300-cubit long boat. And that, if you use the Egyptian cubit, is 515 feet long, or about 157 meters. And that's exactly the length of this boat-shaped object. Okay, what do you see, Solly?
And Jones says he has fresh evidence, working with a local professor to look beneath the surface after several teams scanned the site with ground-penetrating radar. We're standing right above where these images were taken.
We had them independently analyzed, and the data came back showing these tunnels going down the ark and on the inside area of the ship.
This animation, revealed here on Today for the first time, imagines those spaces as corridors with cabins.
Right angles and parallel lines, suggesting maybe these are the walls, the support beams for rooms. Other researchers have also found evidence that there are 3 layers below the ground, and in the biblical account, you have 3 individual decks, according to Genesis. So you're looking at the site here.
And they say soil samples suggest a chemical imprint of a ship. Many may look at this and say it's simply a natural feature of the landscape.
Then the ark rested in the 7th month.
But Andrew is a man of faith.
On the mountains of Ararat.
And the faithful are flocking here, like Christine and Victor from California.
Well, it's in Genesis, so you study it, you read about it, and so we are excited to be here, right, Vic?
Yeah. The possible resting place of Noah's Ark, now a new stop on pilgrimages, increasingly popular with American Christians.
The feeling of going back in time and space with Abraham and Noah and Isaac and Jacob.
This is my father's word. Whether you believe this is Noah's Ark or not, these are indisputably biblical lands, drawing believers to see for themselves.
This morning, a music industry first.
You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk.
The AI-generated country hit Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust, hitting #1 on a Billboard chart. The song, released less than a month ago, already streamed more than 3 million times, beating out actual humans for the top spot on Billboard's country digital song sales chart. The success getting mixed reactions.
It's made by a robot. It's an AI-generated song, and I'm not sure how to feel about that.
As a graduate of a music industry program, this is fascinating to me. As an artist, this is absolutely insane to me.
Billboard acknowledging Breaking Rust is an AI act, saying it's one of at least 6 to chart in the past few months alone.
Let go, let God, give him control.
Like Zanaya Monet, the AI R&B and gospel crooner created by songwriter Talisha Nikki Jones, amassing more than 44 million streams since her debut.
I think ultimately
This feels almost like an experiment to see just how far something like this can go and what happens in the future and in other disciplines of art as well.
This just one of many examples of AI making its way into art.
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
AI-generated actress Tilly Norwood drawing swift backlash with her debut.
I'm built on everything that came before me.
Actress Emily Blunt telling Variety's Clayton Davis.
That's an AI.
Yes, that is the...
Good Lord. We're screwed. That is really, really scary. Come on, agencies. Don't do that.
AI artists won't require all the things that a real human artist will require. And once companies start looking about and considering bottom lines, I think that's when, artists should rightly be concerned about it.
It's a story that seems so unlikely. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, two people talking in a restaurant who had no idea they were pen pals more than 3 decades earlier.
Brent Lale takes us on their remarkable journey.
It's an improbable reunion.
We realized that we were pen pals 35 years ago.
Flashback to 1990 when the Royal Canadian Navy participated in the Persian Gulf War.
In New Victoria, Cape Breton, there was an ad in the Post to write to any service member overseas just for your support. So I had done that. You must possess an awful lot of courage, faithfulness, and honesty to your country.
Halfway around the world, Petty Officer Richard Austin was patrolling the sea aboard the HMCS Athabascan.
In my way back to my watch station on the ship, I would just stop by sick bay, and the box was there, and I grab letters and take them back, and then when I got down to where I was going, then I would read who it was from. And I think the pink envelope caught my eye.
Austin would then write back.
Thank you so much for your thoughtful letter. I was dealing with a weapon system, and I was all alone for like 12 hours a day, so I had to have something to occupy my mind.
Fast forward 3 decades later, Lisa Johnson has moved from the East Coast to London, Ontario, and works as a server.
I served these two gentlemen, Rick and Mike. We got to chatting, and I said I wrote to a Navy personnel back in 1990. I have the letter here. So when I produced the photo of the letter, Rick said to me, Lisa, that's my writing. And just goosebumps, like there's no way.
And when she showed it to me, I recognized my writing and my unique computer graphics that I did to write to a lot of people. Yeah, it was just, oh wow.
The two see each other every weekend when Richard comes in for breakfast.
He served us in the military, so now I get to serve him.
And you need those moments in your life, especially today, to have a bright ray of sunshine shine in. And so it's just like, yeah, there is good in the world.
It's rare for military stories to have a happy ending. This one not only makes you feel warm inside, but it's a tale worthy of a Hollywood script. In London, Brent Lale, CTV News.
That is so unlikely.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
One of those stories that makes you go, what a small world.
Yeah, we weren't on the air yesterday, but thank you to all the servicemen and women out there that come before and continue to serve us. Let's get to our sidebar.
All right, the town of Kearney, Ontario has made a splash with the 9th annual Santa Claus Charity Ski Show. Santa and his friends traded in their sleighs for skis, gliding, jumping, and splashing into the chilly waters. Some of Canada's best ski performers took part, and for the first time, there was a full-size ski jump that sent Santa's reindeer flying through the air.
Okay.
Yeah. The event raised more than $30,000 and thousands of pounds of food for the local food bank, so it was all for a great cause.
And that's what matters. Oh, look at that. I've always wanted to try one of those. I think it would probably slam me into the ground so hard.
I don't know
how you control it.
Right? Oh,
man.
But what a way to go.
Yeah.
The fans of Wizard of Oz will soon have a rare chance to own iconic memorabilia from the 1939 original.
Who killed my sister? Who killed the Witch of the East? Was it you? Well, my
most anticipated items is the iconic black hat that Margaret Hamilton wore as the Wicked Witch of the West. Do you want to own anything from this movie? Because the lore around this film, like nothing good happened to any of the people in this film.
Yeah, I was going to say the behind-the-scenes stories from taping this are so spooky and they leave me uneasy. I don't think I would want to own
Like
this.
she got an illness from wearing that green paint all the time. The Tin Man did as well from the silver paint. Wasn't Judy Garland the only one that came through with this without any kind of ill effects?
Yeah, no, I think Judy Garland might have been affected too, wasn't she?
But happy bidding if you're interested in something like that. It happens on December 9th. Thanks for being with us on that uplifting note. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Yeah.